not doing anything actually also makes a person not want to do anything. We actually just came from a rabbi's meeting with Eli Beer, who's the head of United Hatzalah in Israel. It was very
fascinating,
very inspiring. One of the things you just said was actually that when the way to keep these volunteers motivated is to keep them busy, make sure they're doing things and helping people.
You are listening to the JP Show,
where we discuss the issues you care about from a Jewish perspective.
I am Rabbi G.
And I am Rabbi Levi.
And we hope you enjoy this episode. And here we are. Welcome to another episode of the JP Show. If you might detect my voice a little bit hoarse, I'm a bit run down. Rabbi Levi looks a bit tired too. Only for good reasons, because we had a really unbelievable Shavuot, a real marathon. I'm still a bit knocked out and jet lagged. How are you feeling, Rabbi Levi?
Yeah, pretty tired actually. We stayed up a whole night, the first night, and a Kayemet event the second night, and obviously busy time during the day as well. So,
another big young adult event on the second day.
Exactly.
So it was really packed. Beautiful shul davening. Lots of people for the Ten Commandments, for the Aseret HaDibrot. It's all happening, all packed into 48 hours.
Which actually leads in exactly what I want to talk about.
Oh, okay.
And actually, I can't really articulate what the topic is, maybe because I'm just too tired. But
that's nice. So anyone after this who has any ideas what we should call this episode, let us know.
That's right. Maybe we'll figure it out after we finish. Because we are very tired, and when we don't sleep and don't eat properly and don't take care of ourselves properly, it's like you get washed out, and you get, very sort of, that's what I'm looking for, burnt out, and sort of, you can't really function on the one hand. On the other hand, not doing anything actually also makes a person not want to do anything. We actually just came from a rabbi's meeting with Eli Beer, who's the head of United Hatzalah in Israel. It was very
fascinating,
very inspiring. One of the things you just said was actually that when the way to keep these volunteers motivated is to keep them busy, make sure they're doing things and helping people. Because when you don't do anything, you become...
he said any project, if you take too many volunteers who don't have enough to do, then they burn out.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Yeah. So I guess, where's the balance? I mean, we could take this in different directions, and we probably will, but like on the one hand, say you have to have a full night's sleep every single night, and then you have to have perfect 3 meals a day, and nothing could interrupt that, and you can never go out of your own routine, then you won't get anything done, and also you'll be very unfulfilled. On the other hand, not sleeping at night is also not good. So how do we...
So I think the baseline is, the default position is that selflessness is a very big Jewish ideal, and living with meaning and purpose. So you've got to do. I mean, there's no question about it. I think we were taught that by the Lubavitcher Rebbe a lot, who kept his Hasidim very, very busy.
That's right.
I don't regret anything we did on Shavuot. It was very, very tiring, but I think it was amazing. We probably should have maybe taken off a half a day afterwards, which we didn't do. So that's probably the mistake. I think the goal, the focus is let's give, let's be very, very, very busy, but just make sure that you're listening to what you need as well. But don't make that the focus.
Right. I think that's the point. Like, the focus is not...
I think what he said before is so unbelievably true, because we know that, right? If you're volunteering, it means you want to give. We know that happiness comes from giving and meaning and purpose. That's a Jewish concept explained a lot by Viktor Frankl, and so we've talked about that many times. Therefore, you've got to be able to have that. He said something else. He said if you would pay his volunteers a little bit of money for each call they did, they would
do less, which actually is fascinating.
Yeah,
that is fascinating.
And he knows what he's talking about. I mean, the guy has 10,000 volunteers. So
yeah, he's been doing it for like 30 years.
He's doing it for many, many years. So I think he's on good authority. But yeah, because if you're giving, you want to give, and you want to feel that you gave. It's the most amazing feeling that you accomplish, right? But at the same time, you just need to be clever about it, I think.
Do you think it's a good thing to always feel stretched? Today, in the modern day era, you have to have boundaries. You have to know until when you can push yourself, until when you can't. Do you think it's healthy if a person is constantly feeling like I'm at my last bar? I'm the last bar of batteries.
I think it's a fascinating question.
Because if you're not, let me just add some more there, because if you're not, that means you're not really using your full potential, right?
So I'm going to reframe that a little bit. I think the default is you always have to feel a sense of urgency. There's what to do.
Yeah.
We haven't scratched the surface. There's so much more we could be doing. But you've got to be clever. So I mean, you've got to also, which I'm not sometimes, and I think you also aren't sometimes, that you've got to know when not to overdo. In other words, yes, you can always feel a bit, not stressed is the word, good stressed, I guess.
Stressed, no, I said stretched.
Yeah, stretched, I understand. But, we should stretch ourselves as part of the human growth. We should dream big. I think we spoke about this last week. I was at this Launchpad retreat. And one of the guys that spoke was a guy from America who runs this Moishi House thing.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not commenting on the organization and how effective it is. That's not the point. The point is, from a religious point of view and so on. But it is a Jewish organization. It tries to connect Jews together. And this guy just dreams big. He never stops. So now it's built this like massive organization of things all out around the year because he has vision. He thinks big. He thinks we can accomplish, we can find the money, and all that kind of stuff, right? All these things are nice on paper and they're very difficult when you're not implementing them, but that's the point. So I think from that point of view, no, you should always, I'm doing more and I'm doing more. There are many things we could do which we could leave out, and then if you leave it out, no one would even know, or in the big scheme of things, people won't necessarily pick up on it.
Yeah.
But it means that some people didn't get the help they need, or some people didn't get the inspiration they need. So the more the better. But I guess at the same time, and I'm not very good at this, but at the same time, you just need to know when just to stop, pause. I guess the pause is not that our self-care should become our focus, but we do need to know when to pause.
Yeah.
Just to come up for air.
I once heard from a very Hasidic, pious Jew. I'm interested to hear what you say about this, and if this is the correct thing or not, or is this for everyone, that he doesn't own a couch. And he says, why? Because if you think about it, if it's nighttime, you're going to sleep, you go to bed, and if not, just to sit and do nothing, you're not being effective. Is that at a very high level? Is the perspective correct?
Listen, I don't know the application of that perspective. I think the pause is correct. Everyone has to know how they do a pause. I'm not sure who you're referring to, but your grandfather, my father-in-law, who was a very high level person, I think, never stopped learning Torah. He was always learning, always giving shiurim, always serving Hashem that way. There was a couch in his house, but I never saw him on it.
Yeah.
And I think he had that perspective. In the middle of the day, but he was a very organized person, and he would take care of himself. Meaning, he had this thing where often during the day he was sitting and learning. He used to work in yeshiva in the morning. In the afternoon, he would just sit and learn, take phone calls from people who needed help and so on. But otherwise, he was just with a book, a sefer. And he would sometimes close the book and go upstairs, have a 10-minute nap, and then come down again.
Yeah.
A couple of times a day he did this. And I think that was his thing. If I'm up, I'm doing. If I need to sleep, I'll sleep. I'll do half-half. I lounge around and that. But for other people, maybe that's different. Everyone has to know themselves. But I think the pushing yourself is a good thing, but you also have to know when you need to pause. I think that's there were great tzaddikim, there were great pious people, really on a high level, who they would take it. Even the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe had certain times that he would travel just to rest. He had health issues also.
Yeah, maybe, on those rests, he would write Hasidic discourses. It wasn't exactly...
so maybe just change of scenery. But the one that didn't do that is the Rebbe, our Rebbe.
He never took a day off.
Never took a day off, ever.
So is that a model, or is that not a model?
I think it's a model. I think, we often tell stories of great people, not because that's the aspiration, that's the goal. It doesn't mean that everything they did is a model of how exactly we should do it. I think if we did it at that pace, we would go completely crazy. I don't think, as I said, even great people didn't do that. It was like you gotta, just to keep on going like that for years without, literally, he went to work, so to speak, if you can call it that, every single day of the year.
Yeah.
He was in his office every single day of the year, including Shabbos and Yom Tov, because he was working and he was teaching, he was farbringing, and he was, But obviously that's something we can't achieve. But it is a model in terms of we're not here for a party. We're not here in this world to party. That's not what we're here for.
Yeah.
We're here to give. We're here to do. We're here to accomplish.
Do you think that it's a good thing? I mean, this probably opens up to a wider discussion, perhaps in a totally different direction, but that like we're somewhat always feeling a little bit of guilt. What I mean by that is like, you know, if you're relaxing, you feel guilty that you're not actually being productive. If you're being productive, maybe you feel guilty that you're not spending enough time with your family. If you're spending time with your family, it means you're not doing your work. Like in other words, life demands from us so many different things, and there's a certain element of I'm always a little bit uncomfortable because there's something else I should be doing. Is that a healthy thing?
Well, there's a lot of questions in that question. First of all, I don't think it's a terrible thing. I mean, I think we always have to be alert.
Yeah.
However, you also have to know, like, from a Hasidic point of view, this is the way Hasidic philosophy explains it, right? Or coming from the Talmud. We are born to serve God, right? So everything we do really should be in line with our values of serving God. Now, there's a question, how much time this, how much time that. So when you say like, you know, I'm doing, but I didn't spend enough time with my family. Spending time with your family is a godly thing to do, correct? It's something important. Your children, their education, your shalom bayit. That's a godly thing. It's just a question of how much and when. And okay, so that's what you always feel a bit uneasy, but that doesn't matter. We talk it over with other people. I don't think if it boils down to guilt, I don't think that's a good thing. If it boils down to always being conscious of it, thinking about it, I don't think that's a bad thing. And I think what needs to happen then is, like you always have these questions: should I be there? Should I be here? Should I be doing more of this, more of that? Think about it. Talk to someone. Maybe ask a mentor, and then decide. And then don't worry about it.
Right.
That's the
right thing to do. That's the right thing to do.
You know, I made a decision. I'm doing my best decision I can, and I'm just doing it. Tomorrow will be another dilemma, so I'll be conscious of it again. But then I'll do the same process. I'll work through it and then make, you know, that kind of thing. I think that's the model.
Yeah. So there is a little bit of doubt almost that a person should have.
But that's, you know, reflection. It's like, you know, there's a concept that when you go to sleep at night, you should reflect on the day. At the end of the month, you should reflect on the month. Yom Kippur, you should reflect on the year, and so on. So there is that concept in Judaism about reflecting, revisiting, and saying, you know, I'm on the right track. But we're also taught that over-reflection is no good. Hashem gave us a month of Elul before Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur to reflect on the year. That's where you spend more time reflecting, but you don't start reflecting the whole time. Otherwise, you become dysfunctional. You're always reflecting about what's the right thing without doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Just do. You might not get it 100% right, but just get it done. Like, go for it. Make a decision and move.
Yeah. And also, obviously, I think we've spoken this many times, like, we're not perfect people. And if you did waste 10 minutes here, a half hour here, just move on and be productive for the next half hour. Like, don't over-evaluate what you just did.
No, correct. Correct.
You're smiling. Looks like you want to say something.
No, I just listened to something this morning. It was a podcast, and I have nothing to do with this, but it was a cute thing. So it was a podcast from a rabbi that's halachic issues every and he was interesting. He was trying to examine, explore, speaking to different rabbis about the halachic consequences, the halachic view or perspective on Ozempic and Mounjaro and these things that people take nowadays, which become very popular, and not a lot has been written on it from a Jewish point of view. So one of the people he spoke to was a nutritionist who actually doesn't recommend these things. She says everyone can lose weight without them. And okay, it's a separate discussion. It's a separate, when you do need, when you don't need, okay. But then in the middle of the discussion with the nutrition, he asked her at the end, because she's a big nutritionist, been doing it for many years, and she apparently helps a lot of people. So she said, can you give me, so he said to her at the end of the conversation, at the end of the interview, he said to her, give me one nutrition tip that's like your favorite one. So she says her favorite one is that when you cheat, right, which we all do, so like when you sort of, you know, moment of weakness, you end up eating a piece of cake, even though it wasn't what you decided to do. She says, don't wait. Go back to, in other words, you made a mistake, it's okay, you're human, go back to your routine.
Right. Don't say, okay, tomorrow I'll start again.
Tomorrow, and I feel guilty and make a whole process. Just, okay, you did it, boom, out of the way, next.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit
I think it's a good lesson. Okay.
Very good.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a wonderful day, everyone, and we'll see you next week.